Hello everybody, and welcome to a quick visual demonstration of the paddle project. So here you can go ahead and see that on my screen we have the option to log in and then skip login for now. We're going to go ahead and hit skip login. And then from here we get the option to connect a device, go to user data or settings. So I'm going to go ahead and push connect device on my phone. And then Blueno comes up. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Blueno because that's the name of this. And then we're going to go ahead and calibrate. So that's always the first thing you should do with this paddle, just so you get more accurate data. So the trick to calibrating is just to hold the paddle upright and then press the calibrate button and then wait for a few seconds. And then it should say that calibration is completed. Excellent. So now we can either go into live data or do a pre-programmed test or check our user data and settings. So first, before we do anything, let's go ahead into settings and make sure that the pressure floor is what we want. So the pressure floor is how hard you have to push down in order for the paddle to receive a pressure input. And so for now, let's go ahead and leave it at 4, because I think that's just what I prefer. And then the stroke average, this is the number of strokes you have to complete before you get a averaged reading of those strokes. So this gives you a little bit less variance. And then we'll go ahead to live data. And this tells us what data we want to have show up in the live feed. So I'm going to go ahead and select the area under the pressure curve, the stroke rate, the time, and the air versus water time. And then we'll go ahead and hit save. We can go back. And then from here, let's go ahead into live data. So here we have those statistics that I was talking about. We have the time, which is currently 62. That's the time since I've connected to the paddle. And then we have the stroke rate and the area under the pressure curve. So if we go ahead and start pressing down on the paddle, you'll see that the stroke rate begins to change. So if I push down on the pressure sensor and then release, it gives me that 15. And then as I continue to do strokes, or in this case, push down on the pressure sensor, the stroke average changes. And as I complete 5, you'll see that the data reading is going to be a lot more accurate now. So now we're reaching about 31. So if I go ahead and speed up the rate at which we're doing strokes, you can see that the stroke rate starts to change. So now it's at about 90. And then you can see I've increased the rate at which I'm completing strokes. So anyway, you can see the area under the pressure curve changing as well. You're probably wondering what that was. So let's go ahead and swap views. So this brings us to our graph view. And the black line, let's go ahead and hide the other lines for now, is the pressure curve. And so as I push down on the pressure, you can see it spikes up and then it comes back down when I release. And this is rather sensitive. And when using in the water, the paddle is going to be a lot less up and down. It'll be a lot more like gentle on the pressure sensor. So you can see now I'm being a lot more delicate. All right, let's go ahead and hop into some new features. The pre-programmed test option helps the user to match a predetermined stroke interval, first starting at 40 and then moving up to 85 in 30-second intervals, in which the strokes per minute rate increments by 5. So after a 5-second get ready countdown, the timer starts at 30 seconds. So here the user's objective is to try to match the desired stroke rate on the right with their actual stroke rate on the left. So here you can see the user starts off a little fast and then slows down over time to try and match that 40 strokes per minute rate. Once the timer ticks down to 0 seconds, the segment will increase to 2, the desired stroke rate will increase to 45, and the timer will reset back at 30. While it would be fun to watch this tick down, I'm going to go ahead and save some time and move on. The next thing I want to show off is going and recording and then loading saved runs. So let's go ahead and take a look at the graphs. So you can see each color corresponds to an axis, and if I rotate the paddle in space, you can see that those lines change. And so I'm going to go ahead and move the paddle back to 0 and then rotate it 90 degrees in this direction and then move it back and then rotate the paddle on this axis. So if you're particularly interested in this pieces of data, you can go ahead and hit start recording. And then from here, you can go ahead and move things around and modify the position of the paddle in space, or paddle if it was to be used in water. And then if we go ahead and move it back and rotate it again and back, and then hit stop recording, we can exit out of this. And then if we go to user data, we can see that there's a new recording created as of today, which is the 25th. And if we go ahead and tap on that, we can see the data we just entered in. I'm just scrolling right now with my thumb. And once we make it to the end, we can go back. And if we're particularly interested in keeping this recording, we can go ahead and hit upload, and that will upload it to the AWS cloud, where we store our data in a database. So thanks for watching. I'm looking forward to posting an update in a week or two demonstrating the paddle working in water. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. It means a lot to me and to the channel. And if you'd like to be notified about future updates on this project or on other projects I work on, please consider subscribing. Thanks.